if you want, or we can watch it and see what things are like.
Whoa, 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 whoa! We are live. There were some technical difficulties, but I mean, you can see from the name of the stream that was bound to happen.
Lords of War, Chris? Is that
Chris
what?
learns to computer.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true for those catching this. Yeah, I'm the one with the IT background, but Chris did everything, so I let him struggle with this.
Yeah, if it looks whack, then you know why.
So
it took an apocalyptic event to make me learn how to do some of this stuff. So
yeah, that's true. Well, I guess it can't be that bad if we're doing this. So
yeah,
at least around here.
Yeah, so we're just testing out our equipment, and we're just going to paint a bit tonight. Jay, what are you working on?
I'm painting the Mind Spherings that came out for Warcry in February. I built it a month ago and haven't done much since. I started the horn, and I figured let's work on this because it's got a lot going on. It's like got just crazy horns. It's got braids and hair and some body armor for some reason. I don't know why. It also has a weird, like, it's got the unsettling look to it, and like it knows more than you. It can read your mind. Might have something to do with the eye in its head, maybe. I don't know.
The Warcry stuff in general, just like it's just also paintable, you know.
It is, yeah. So I will see if I can get through this horn here without like wanting to throw it against the wall. Yeah. What about you?
Hello, people. So I figured I'm actually going to work on this Chieftain battle tank. I'm not sure if they're actually going to make it into my Team Yankee British list, but I kind of wanted to just do a quick test and see if I wanted to dry brush or airbrush. So I figured I'd just throw some dry brush on this and see how it goes.
Ooh, dry brush.
Yeah, I'm using the fancy Artist Opus. Boom.
Series D.
Goat hair.
That's right.
So soft.
The D is for dry.
The D is for dry.
Put it in D. Yeah, they're good. I've used them on a few things, and it's not just a sales gimmick. It's the best dry brush ever made. I can confidently say that they're really, really fun to use.
Yeah, we have the privilege of knowing the guy who makes them too, so he gives us the extra lowdown, you know.
Yeah, I know what did Byron say? 25 prototypes, something like that. They went through. They tried all kinds of. They tried different goats too. I think he said that were like, it wasn't just any goat. It'd be like a specific one.
And you know they're good because what's his name? Who's the crazy dry brusher guy?
Bohan.
Bohan uses them, and he would dry brush an eye if he had to paint one. So
that's true. That's true. There are insane people in the world that would do that. They would dry brush an eyeball. I don't know who. I don't know how you can get to when do you wake up and you're like, you know what? I like dry brushing so much. I'm gonna dry brush this eyeball. I've never. I can confidently say I've never.
You don't love dry brushing, then apparently.
I don't love it. No,
love
sometimes.
It.
Sometimes I like it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I would.
Well, you'll never be Bohan then, I guess. You know.
No, I guess not. I did. Basically dry brush. There's a Beastman bust at the store that I did when we got the dry brushes, and it was a lot of fun, like a ton of fun. I was shocked at how fun it could be to take like a slightly bigger subject and just kind of like work colors without thinking about like necessarily like it's the opposite of what I'm doing right now, which is like trying to very like specifically put a color down, and the dry brush you just can kind of like just like use little circular motions and like work it in to things and build up layers of colors underneath, and they show through. I don't know. It's like using I don't know, it's like manual airbrushing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't tried them before, Byron has a YouTube channel too. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but you probably wouldn't have a hard time finding it if you search like Series D. Right. And he has this one video where he like dry brushes a greater demon of Nurgle, and it's like pretty wild. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty like a slam dunk of a model to dry brush.
This is my first time using the big one, and holy cow, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's so it like you don't get as much chalking or
no.
You know.
I think it's because the bristles per square inch or whatever. It's like it's a really dense brush. So I think that's probably why you get that nice even coat with it, I guess. And the other thing I noticed is it doesn't the paint, because it's so dense, the paint doesn't come close to the ferrule very much. Like it's hard to really like goop this brush up. It like sits in the core of the brush, I guess, and probably keeps it alive longer and makes it easier to maintain. I don't know.
And the other trick that I think he was trying to tell people, which I've always found to be true, is having a little bit of moisture actually tends to help quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's like, I remember he was giving us I don't know, you guys call it presentation at Denticon last year, I guess, was it? And
yeah, I think you're right.
He's like, guys, the secret is moisture. And we're like, what are you talking about?
But Byron, it's a dry brush.
It's a dry brush. Yeah, he's like, no, you got to see this. And he's like, you got to wet the brush. And I was like, holy gee. And anyway, I kind of filed in the back of my head until I tried it. And I was like, wow. Yeah, it's a misnomer. The secret to dry brushing is not being totally dry. A tiny, but like we're talking like a really tiny amount of water. Like, I think the instructions they give when you buy the set or whatever, it's you take the brush handle and you dip that in some water. So there's like literally a drop of water, and then you just like let that go onto like a little sponge or something, and then that's it. That's like all you need. You don't need more than, I don't know, what is that, a mill of water, something like that. Yeah. What colors are you painting those?
The tanks. So, you know me, and I think you're like this too. Getting color on the model as fast as possible, definitely the way to go. Oh, so yeah. I use the Vallejo bronze green, UK bronze green, which is the official color they recommend for British.
Wow.
In the 80s.
The Queen endorsed that, or what?
It would have been endorsed by the Queen, you know.
You got
it's got the stamp right on the rattle can.
It does, yeah. You have you have a picture of the Queen up in your house too?
I'm good, Digsbot. I don't know who that is, but hello. If you guys have any questions, we were thinking we could just keep it chill tonight, and you guys should hobby along with us, you know. And nobody got nothing else to do, you know.
No.
Kids are in bed, asleep.
For now, yeah.
For now, yeah. So if Jay suddenly runs out of the room, you know why.
God. Yeah. My son has an uncanny ability to know when I'm busy doing something, so, you know.
Oh, Lance, how you doing, buddy?
Lance, that's awesome. I hope your what'd you get? You got that epic Black Sun Conan guy on the Saber Cat. I hope that's going well.
He grabbed the Saber Cat?
Holy cow. He has the biggest balls on the internet. He went for it, man.
Yo, pure respect if you finish that model.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'll look forward to seeing it. His Caesar he did some time ago was pretty fantastic. And I think that was his first like bust or whatever, if I remember.
That's a really nice piece. The Caius Julius Caesar piece. Everyone always asks about that one.
By Nuts Planet.
Yeah, by Nuts Planet.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's just, I don't know. He's very. He's also got a. I don't know if it's just maybe they did it on purpose or maybe it's, I don't know what we took it from what first, but he's got like, he kind of had like Gulliman. Him and Gulliman have the same kind of face. It's like really. He's a really heroic epic.
Like he's so stoic or something. I don't know what
so
the word would be, but
yeah. Like, and it's really nice not to I don't know, sometimes faces can be tough if they have too much going on or whatever it is. I think every time I see the one we have in the store painted by our friend John, it's it looks like it was just fun and a joy. Not I don't know.
He's got that kind of like perfect amount of different things going on, right? He's got like nice tarp going over his shoulder.
Yes.
You get to paint skin, you get to paint beard, you get to paint armor. He's got like just like a little bit of everything. Man, it's been a while since I brushed model. Feels good.
You're like, whoa. I mean, to be honest, this it's been a while since I painted anything. This thing I'm painting right now is very.
Hold on one second, guys. I'll fix that. How's that, guys? Does that sound better? Ooh.
We're down to.
I'll take it.
Not two mics anymore.
I guess nobody wanted to hear reverberating Chris,
Oh well, that's fair.
I mean, one voice is probably enough. Too much for most people. So.
Well, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, just forgive me as I paint on stream for the first time. I'm learning. I'll try to get better at positioning the model as I go, but it's hard when you've never done it before. So
it is. Yeah, I'm constantly looking and tinkering.
24 years of painting without a camera, and now you're. Oh boy, I think I know who that is with that question.
Yeah, I don't know about everyone else, but this whole quarantine and having whatever you call it, and having extra time to paint, that did not happen for me yet.
That is for childless people.
Yes. Yeah. You don't have a kid right now. Good for you. You get to just do activities.
I think my life is busier, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Jay and I are still going into the shop, even though we're close to the public. So that means we can't basically customer face at the store. But we are trying to keep things going through our website and Facebook and through Twitch now. So.
Yeah, we don't have online source, so to speak, but you can just ask us for anything that you're looking for, and chances are we have it. While stocks last.
Yeah, while stocks last.
There's most for people that are curious. Most distribution for miniatures is closed down, but not all of it. So there's still a few things we can get, but it's pretty limited, and obviously no Games Workshop stuff. So whatever we have on the shelf right now is it, and luckily we still have a lot. But certain items are, like for instance, I Someone picked up an Iron Hand supplement today. We only usually have one, so.
So Iron Hands are extinct. It's official.
Iron Hands are extinct, along with their Primaris guy. What's his name? Feros.
All
gone. So,
yeah.
But we still have lots of fun, cool stuff. Actually, we got a bit of a restock the other day. We're at the last restock for a while. So,
shipping, we're just kind of doing what we always do, which is if you spend $100, you get free shipping. We have a little submission form that you can fill out on the website, and we'll just kind of PayPal invoice you and ship a box. It's super easy. The only thing that'll be a little annoying is we'll have to get back to you whether something's out of stock or not, but just put the stuff in there you want and we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's a miracle. You wouldn't believe it, but 15 years ago I was quite the computer guy.
Was it 15? I guess it was, yeah.
I'm just going to drive this tank across the screen. I'm a chieftain. And that's why we do tiny tanks.
That's pretty much the whole reason, isn't it? That's 90% of it right there.
This is a Team Yankee tank, actually, so it's the same company, but they do like a Cold War game. So it's a bit fictional, but it uses all the stuff that was around in the 80s. So
it's like faster, deadlier flames of war.
Now I have to do unfun camo striping. I wasn't looking forward to that.
Good luck. Let's see. We got some questions.
A hot war game. You're just here for the hot takes, aren't you, Chris? You got a lot of ground to make up for, at Adepticon. He's the guy you literally have to watch what you say the entire weekend because he's just waiting with a joke.
Oh, is that Chris Dunn over there?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You got to watch.
And that's what I miss most about Adepticon.
Yeah, I reminisced the other day about was it Wednesday? It was like a beautiful day, and I'm like driving home, and I was like, we probably would have been pulling into Adepticon like right now or something. It was like 6:30 or something. So that was kind of lame. You're like, oh.
Next up, Vallejo Black Gray. Vallejo Black Gray.
Is it gray black or is it black gray?
It's more of a blue black gray with a bit of bone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not interested then. Wow, John asked us a lot of questions. He doesn't even he knows the answers to all these questions. Like, what is?
He's just being a little, you know what?
Yeah, he's being a real John. Yeah.
Being a real John.
Yeah. First one is how to disassemble, clean, and reassemble an airbrush. Well, that's a whole video on itself one day.
Yeah, I might tackle that one at the store maybe tomorrow or next week, just on the live stream, just kind of go over the basics of an airbrush. But that is a bit of a ask to do on a stream. Yeah,
it's a good one.
It is a good one though. Yeah, you get a lot of mileage out of that.
We can just and then we can just be like, people come in, I'll be like, did you watch the Twitch thing or whatever? Did you watch your video?
Yeah,
no?
you just start directing people onto Twitch. Right?
Just straight to the video. Yeah, I'll be like, did you watch it? No? Okay, well, come back to me after you watched it.
No, you can't make requests. Other people can make requests. This is a PG-13 channel, okay?
Oh, boy. What else? John asked how to develop a palette and how to execute, figuring out balancing main detail and accent colors. It's another loaded question. I'm a little tired of John questions already.
They're so technical.
They're so
Where's
technical.
the fun questions?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say with the palette, I think everyone's different. I'm a bit more of a organized chaos person, so even with this model I'm painting right now, I kind of just like I guess I don't know. I'm one of those guys where I just have kind of a bit of the vision in my head, and then I just kind of start grabbing kind of what kind of looks cool out of my box or off the rack or whatever. I try and pick colors I haven't painted much before. It kind of trains me to learn something new, even if I could have picked maybe something a little easier. And then from there, once I get a few, I usually try and start with a couple colors, and then in the case of the cat, I kind of made this. This is like its skin is like this green and purple color I mixed. I used some of the Scale Artist 2 paint that we started carrying this year, and what's cool about it is it mixes really well. And
drop bottle to mini. What are you, crazy? Can't do that. That's reckless.
Oh. And yeah, and then I was like, oh, I like that skin, and then I figured I would just kind of build off that. That would be my. So I'm gonna probably pick some warmer colors for the other parts of it. How do you go about picking colors?
Holy moly! Well, I usually try to think of a primary color that I want to focus my army around. And somehow it ends up always being red, I guess. I think, well, not always red, but I think to myself, what color haven't I painted recently? Sort of like what you do, and then I end up with red, even though I painted red before.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends on the army too, right? Because like with the Bone Reapers recently, you're kind of stuck with bone to a degree, unless you want to like really go out there. So I kind of decided to really desaturate the bone and not let that color add to the army. So like instead of like a yellow bone, I just kind of chose something like really subtle.
Yeah, that was nice. I saw you took advantage of some contrast to be like your starting point, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, I was kind of I found the models to be extremely textured and very detail rich, so I was like, contrast paint is like your best friend in that situation. Problem is that with the Bone Reaper models, they look simpler than they are. They're very they're just like, even the bone isn't simple. There's like stuff everywhere.
Right.
But yeah, so I'll usually pick a primary color and then build off of that color. So when I'm thinking of a secondary color, primary color being like if, Space Marines are always the classic example, right? Like the model's like 90% one color or 80% one color. But primary color could be 40% of the model or 30%.
Sure.
As long as it's still like mostly used, I guess, right? And then for like secondary and tertiary colors, I try to go off of the primary color, like what complements it, using a color wheel. I don't really use the wheel anymore. I just kind of, it's kind of a bit instinctual at this point.
You don't use the wheel anymore?
I don't use the wheel. I probably should use the wheel, but I don't. It is a little reckless.
It's reckless.
Yeah.
I like that word.
But, I think we're both a little reckless with our hobbies, so.
Yeah.
Can't be too cautious, then it's bold.
No, it's true, but sometimes whether you like it or not, you're going to gravitate back to certain colors, for sure. I definitely, and there's certain colors I just don't paint at all, or very little. Like green is a color that I've been trying to paint more of because I just don't hardly paint any green on anything. So I got to paint some more green on my works.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That I was going to bring. And there's some nice greens that we have between the model rack and the Pascal Color Smooth paints. It's just like some interesting, different. There's actually a lot of between all the paint ranges. There's actually some really good stuff. I just need to explore it more.
That's why Jay brings the medals. You forget the wheel, bud.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and you know what? You know what really sucks? Jay gets to hold on to it for another year.
Another year. That was the best part about the cancellation of the event.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know what the worst part is you're not gonna get much reprieve because light elves are gonna show up, and then I might as well just start now, and then
I'm pretty disgusted by the whole affair, actually. Yeah.
yeah. That's okay. Yeah, you got.
I was getting ready to win third for the third year in a row. It was going to be a thing. 3 threes.
You got a lot in common with Tom, buddy Tom. Tom Bronze the third.
Doesn't matter third.
Yeah, one of our longtime customers, Tom. He finishes third at like every Age of Sigmar store tournament he plays in. Like in the GTA, he just always finishes there. Pretty awesome.
And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking to yourself, "That's pretty good, right?" Like, but when it's you, it's like it becomes like a meme, and then you're living a meme.
You're a meme, yeah. It's good until it's a meme.
You don't ever want to be a meme.
No.
Yeah, say the name right, Jay. Lumineth Realm Lords.
Lumineth.
Say the whole word.
Lumineth. They're Realm Lords?
So Jordan, are we going to see Tyrion in a day? Or whatever?
There we go.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, we always just assume Jordan knows everything. Sometimes he does. Sometimes I can get him, you ask him a question, he just kind of smirks, and you're like,
Yeah, but you have to decipher the many Jordan smirks.
It's true.
There's like a whole language of smirks.
Sometimes he's just screwing with you. Yeah. Just fucking with your mind.
I don't like painting camo lines. I just, not fun.
In camouflage. Actually.
Teclis' pet is better. Who needs Tyrion? He's replaced Tyrion, his brother, with a pet.
Oh, wow. I gotta say though, they really captured that, like, I mean, I don't know about you. They're like Hiles from the mountains or something.
They do feel like that, yeah.
They're so
like a monk.
Yeah.
Like almost like a monkish theme. Like,
yeah.
I really like, actually, I'm not a huge lore guy in general. Like, I'm the kind of guy that appreciates that it's there because it adds some like richness to the game. But I'm not like, I'm doing this army because the lore is cool. It's usually the models first for me. But
yeah,
I have to admit, after reading the lore for the Lumineth, it was like, this is like, they basically have like a caste system.
Yeah.
Which is going to add a lot of flavor to gameplay. And they're like super powered elves because they like harvest this magical crystal or something like that. So it seemed to me that they wrote in a reason to make them stronger than like an old elf spearman or whatever.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be your what is it? They were like the giant fat-handed awkward spearmen that didn't do anything for so many editions. These guys aren't gonna be a joke like they were for 30 years in the old world or whatever.
30 years of being a joke. It's our time now.
Although whenever Chris ran into a brick of high elf spearman. He seemed to take it pretty hard for some reason. Like that time his worst Sphinx lost to 15 spearmen or something like that.
It was like, it wasn't even 50. It was like 6. I lost to 6 spearmen. It was like I've never seen a guy roll 6s like that. You know, some memories you never lose.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We all have those stories.
Yeah. The game before I played that guy, he like flanked me with a lion chariot and just ruined my entire battle line.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's
It was Mr. Faulkner.
Mr. Faulkner, right?
My Warhammer nemesis.
This is.
I mean, he's my nemesis. To me, I'm just some guy he beats all the time or whatever. So. It's not like a two-way nemesis thing, you know.
Oh man, wow, that's true. That's true. I'm trying to remember. We had a pretty good. Was it? It wasn't the end times. It was before that. I remember. I think we did like a little. Curse myself and a couple other guys. We did like a. We do like 1,000-point building play or something like that. And there was like a good. One guy would beat this guy, and then the other guy would lose. Like it was like a. What do we call it? Triangle or whatever. you could beat one person but not the other, and it was like things were kept in harmony that way.
Oh, that's with when I was playing the Teto Echo.
Yeah,
that was a fun.
What the hell did I play? Was I playing Empire?
Yeah, you played Empire because I remember that I started as undead, and you just single-handedly beat me with a steam tank, and then I retired the army on the spot.
Yeah, that's yeah. There's nothing better than playing a game and then usually it happens when you lose, and then you immediately go to the wherever store you're in. You go to the wall and you just buy the thing to solve the problem. You know, you're like, this is never gonna happen.
Sometimes it's a new army. You look at the wall and there's nothing for me here.
There's nothing for me here. I guess I'm buying a new army. Yeah.
Can't let Jay beat me again.
To be honest, I would say lifetime. I think Chris has definitely won more games than I have.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about us though, is we don't score keep in the head like some people we know that might be able to immediately recall.
Except for the painting thing, I definitely.
Oh yeah, you definitely score keeping. Now at some point, if I win enough third places, that's gotta aggregate points, you know, like.
Is this like Magic Arena? You collect enough of those wild cards or whatever, you get a free.
I'm just saying, man. Like,
once you get your 6th card, you get a rare or whatever.
Yeah. Can I trade 3 3s in for a 1? You know, like. It's not fair.
I mean, I guess, but you just got a bunch of things that say 3rd place. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this is working either.
Yeah, but no, I would say trying to win all your games in games of Warhammer is a much tougher, steeper thing. I think. I don't know. I feel like you have a little more control of your destiny with painting. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. You're probably right. Whoa. Gotta figure out the setup. Very tight on this desk.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room here.
Also, preface: you may hear screaming babies in the back from time to time. That's just life, friends.
And if my stream abruptly ends, my camera battery died. It's still showing as 2 out of 3, so I'm okay. That's okay. This problem
That's the only metric you have. 3 stages.
It's just a little icon with
the
little. No, whoa! I think I just lost one. Oh no. Maybe it's 2 out of 4. I think I'm halfway. Yeah, I don't know.
He's asking you a tactical question about using the Mindstealer Pharynx.
Oh, he's asking me?
Yeah. Would you actually use the Mindstealer for 100 points?
So I've used it a handful of times. It. I'll start. I'll give you the short answer. No. But is it a terrible model? No. It's like I think that, well, two things. One, the 100-point slot in any Age of Sigmar army is kind of like a crapshoot anyway, because you're kind of buying just like a little thing, like extra tech, and sometimes you could argue maybe endless spells are better for those points, depending on the army. The Mind Sphere has one kind of thing about it that makes it tough to use, and that is its ability triggers, if I recall, in its hero phase. So you have to, it's that like conundrum where you have to walk it up there, get it in the spot where you think your opponent's going to be, and then hopefully, and then have it like, not just get killed or whatever. And then, yeah, it's great. You can on essentially a 2+, you can ASL, always strikes last a unit. And a couple times, I've got to use it a couple times. It didn't seem to matter that much, but it also could just be the armies I played it in. I was trying to use it defensively, but I've been playing a bunch of Zinch lately, and if they're getting charged, they're kind of like in bigger trouble than, unless it's a Brick of Horrors, who doesn't care because they have a million lives or whatever. So I don't know, maybe in like a defensive formation in an infantry army or something, pretty good.
So maybe
TLDR,
maybe
TLDR, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I think maybe it also like suffered from like coming out. There's like a lot of like, maybe when the meta settles down a little bit more, seeing as there won't be any battle tomes for like a few months, maybe then it'll kind of find a home in some, because it'll won't be so much rapid change or whatever.
But the nice thing is, like, obviously Warcry, awesome.
It's a beautiful miniature. Oh, it's fantastic in Warcry. Oh yeah, talk about it. So yeah, in Warcry, it's got lots of wounds. It's not too expensive for what it does, and it has the ability to just turn off your opponent's best model, which is amazing. You just be like, your boss with his powerful quad ability doesn't do anything, and your opponent will be like, no.
I like that.
Yeah. The problem with using the Mind Sphere in my Zine Drop, that it's not just more flamers.
Yeah.
So
having been on the receiving end of the Flamer army, whoosh.
Yeah, it's
it's basically Saving Private Ryan, the opening scene for your army.
Yeah, it's also very I mean, it's pure gasoline, but it also has that,
it's pure gas.
If it is susceptible to the if it gets double turned in the first opportunity, then it can be in trouble. But if it doesn't, then it just kind of cruises.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe new Lizardmen or whatever. That was a good counter. I don't know. There's a few. I don't know. I would say there's a bunch of armies that can probably beat it, but it just kind of depends on the turns.
I like in the EOS, like, even if you feel like one army is like a little too strong, you're never waiting very long for an update. So handbook in the summer.
Yeah, and I would predict that maybe it'll get some kind of points adjustment. Maybe the flamers will go up. I could see them getting a heavy tax. They'll be I can see them going up to, I don't know, what are they right now, 120 for 3? That's 2. They'll probably be like 180 for 3, I think.
Holy cow! Just put them in the ground, eh?
No, it just means you can't. You can take 16 of them or whatever, 18 of them, but whatever. But you can't take that and a changeling and a god summoner and that's the. You don't have to make any hard choices when you craft that army right now.
No, they seem like all home runs. Yeah, you're like, maybe
It's
I'll
just
take this. Maybe I'll take this.
like I was one of our local guys, Brandon. He played a lot of games with it recently. And he like built it and tuned the army, and I was just like, wow, you get a lot of extra. Like he would have stuff on the table he didn't even get to using. It was just there for insurance.
Oh God.
So that's when you know that you can probably safely up the cost of things and still keep the army like functional. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yo, why do you gotta say things that'll hurt me, dude? Asking about fire slayers. It's friggin' rude, man. You don't like talking about that. We don't talk about those. That's right. Only failed at the army twice.
That's not bad.
I was slightly vindicated though when our friend John, he's like, I want to do a fire slayer army, and so I'm like, yeah, man, I got to start collecting whatever. Here you go. Literally, he like airbrushed 10 guys, started painting the details on them, and like was like, I'm done.
One night.
Dude. One night tap. And I keep telling people, I'm like, those models are not simple. Like they look easy to paint, but they're just covered in stuff. I think my other issue is I keep getting sucked into these like crazy schemes with them.
Well, that's I don't know. You tried something. They look really nice, the ones you did. So
the problem is like I can do 15 nice ones and I die.
you were like, that was when you were like, okay, I'm gonna do like, you're trying not to get third place again or whatever. And
I was painting with hate.
With hate, yeah.
And it could only sustain me for like 4 months.
You did start them like right after last Adepticon. I
just had a picture of Jay's face with a dart in the middle, looking at every night painting my fire slayers.
Well, I didn't help the night that night at the hotel room. I was just walking around drinking scotch with the metal around my neck and being belligerent or whatever.
That wasn't the only night.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much anything comes up in the store, Jay walks to the cabinet, grabs his metal, does a lap around the store. It's like having veto powers. It's pretty.
Only among friends. Only among friends. Yeah.
Hey Ben, how are you? Thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I know, Dave. You always get me with those stupid baits. Why don't you do non-metal and everything? Why don't you do this? Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Dave loves that.
He always winds me up, man.
He does it to everyone, dude. He's always like, you should do it like this.
And he's also like, singularly immune to being wound up. Like,
yeah, it's
you
true.
try to do it back to him, he's like, nah. You're just like, damn.
It's like, I don't care.
I don't care. You're like, oh.
He's like the Joker.
He's like the Joker. Lighting piles of money on fire.
He'll just light a pile of money on fire. Actually, I would say he's a bit of a Rick, Rick and Morty.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He's a bit of just a Rick.
I just want to watch the world burn, yeah. I don't think you're that extreme, but you definitely like watching my hobby burn.
Wow.
Yeah, Dave will be joining us at some point on the stream. He's got a Twitch channel too, Gungrian. I think that's your Twitch stream name.
He's the guy you should watch if you want to actually learn something.
That's true.
Like,
hey man, I'm putting green on green here. This is
holy Jesus.
This is innovative stuff.
It's amazing. You're doing it, dude.
I can't lose $100 to Zimmer.
Isn't that deadline rapidly approaching or whatever?
I wouldn't say it's rapid, but
It's not. When's the when's the due date?
I believe it. Well, so it was the due date was for a now postponed event, but I'm gonna honor the original agreement
Uh-huh.
because I'm a gentleman. April 28th.
Oh, okay.
So it's not too bad, but
You
and it's
don't
only
lose that
60
many.
points of Team Yankee, so it's not like 100 points or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you put a pretty steep price on you there. It was price of failure was $100 cash.
Cash. It wasn't like $100 of toys. It's like cash.
He's like,
He hit me right in my like bombed out wallet.
just like, I can't do that. My wife will get on me. I got 2 kids, man.
I can't imagine going to her with honey, I need to do an e-transfer.
Holy crap. And then looking at your son and being like, enjoy that Paw Patrol yogurt or whatever. It's going to be the last
We're
one
getting
for a while.
plain yogurt next week.
Plain, just
You
like,
can thank
bulk.
Uncle Zimmer for that one.
Yeah.
No, Heather never knows until I succeed or fail. But you got to remember, though, for people that don't know my wife very well, Jay and I used to play tennis every week or a couple times a week, and she was only happy if when she asked Jay who won, if Jay said that he won. So
Yeah, it was weird. Gotta say.
it is a little weird.
It's like, oh, you okay?
Gotta keep that ego in check, you know?
Gotta keep it in check, yeah.
It's out of control.
It's...
This dry brushing is pretty soothing. I might just be dry brush guy now.
Yeah, I think you're probably having an easier time than me. I'm painting this armor, whatever this is.
This UK bronze green's a really nice color. It's like a gray green. It's super, makes for a super nice base coat. I might use this on something else.
That's pretty nice. Sweet.
It's just like a little bit more green than Mechanicus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, I played tennis. We were in
Chris,
shape. We were in shape. We were both in shape at one point.
We were, yeah.
Kids,
Yeah.
kids have a way of just taking everything. How's that going, Are you surviving the... I think a bunch of the guys in here have kids now, so... We may have just increased the average age of Twitch by 10 years by streaming on here.
Just like that.
Pears of shape.
Pears of shape.
I'd say that's rude, but if it's accurate, it can't also be rude, can it? Hey man, this quarantine thing is really getting me back in shape. Been doing like 3 hours of walking a day.
Oh yeah, the epic walking.
Just like, you know, when you have kids, you're just like, I need to kill a couple hours to strap them to your body and walk. Somehow that counts as a break, you know. Oh, are you turning into a mega helicopter parent? Is that why? So we'll probably end up setting up some sort of schedule for the week going forward. We might have some topics that we discuss for the first 20 minutes just to get the kind of show rolling. If you guys have any ideas, of course, let us know.
Yeah, feel free to ask us lots of questions. And, we lots of things.
I've made the pledge to not talk about politics, but we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, that'll be another reason why the stream will cuts out or whatever.
Jay uses the explode button.
I mean, to be honest, my finger's always close to that,
Yeah, we just got it like hovering over top.
Just hovering, yeah.
Just hovering and waiting. I have to say these Artis Opus brushes are also pretty easy to clean. It's not too bad. The paint doesn't seem to stick as bad as other ones I've used.
Yeah, it's partially the bristle, and like I said, I don't think the bristles are so tightly woven. I don't think a lot of the paint seeps down.
Mm-hmm.
That's my observation with them there.
Topic: why does Jay keep touching his model while he paints?
Oh, I'm just bracing my fingers on it. Steady my hand and let me.
That's right out of the hobby hipster himself.
Okay, one of these days we'll patch we in. We'll see how.
Although he did seem to switch last year from being a hipster to just going like power gamer.
That's true.
So I don't know what happened.
When the Slaanesh army wasn't hipster anymore or whatever.
Yeah, the Slaanesh, and then he had the Skaven army.
That's true.
It seemed like he was trying a little harder,
It's true. I think he's lost his title. Hair care. My hair care is pretty simple. It's wash and comb. That's it.
Jay's hair care would be step 1, have great hair. Step 2,
have great hair.
Wash hair.
True.
Step 2.
For
Step
sure.
3. Yeah. Step 4, profit. It's hard to make these camouflage lines look different on every tank. It's just infuriating. This wave, he's going to go left to right instead of right to left.
Well, you don't want to draw out the same happy cloud and everything?
Make you a Devon Swan, you have to like robotically repeat the same design on every base or whatever.
Ooh, Devon.
Everyone's favorite robot. Oh yeah, my hand has way more paint on it than my model. Hondo P. So what's everybody working on in the chat, or is it you guys just
A bunch of voyeurs or
Bunch
whatever.
of voyeurs.
Gonna-
Tiny Knights. Yes.
Nice.
Very cool.
Tiny Knights was awesome. That was definitely if I was like those situations where you're like, oh, you're gonna be locked away for a long time. One game you can build and paint and play. I would definitely can seriously consider that one. Just like they're just so fun to work on. I think it's because they're just literally like tiny versions of the big ones.
I don't know what it is about making something that's tiny tinier and it being amazing, but it just works every time.
I don't know. Weren't like Micro Machines like the toy of the 80s or whatever?
You know, in my head, I was like, Chris Dunn is going to say something because of that. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's always ready with a hot rip. Ooh, War Master Army. Whoosh. Yeah, that one's I think I had like 3 stands of elves painted and then life, you know.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Whatever you guys were doing. I was curious how long that would go.
Yeah, I was just making the value calculation every year. You know, you're like, oh, I only have a certain amount of time to paint. The one, if you can call it a downside with Adepticon for someone with limited time, is that it does really take up a lot of your hobby throughout the year. So you end up being a little bit less flexible in what you can do. So you get caught up in these big projects, then your cool stuff comes out and you buy it, but you don't ever have time to work on it.
Yep.
At least I know I get trapped in that situation a lot. Jay's usually a little better at not putting himself in that position. Because you're like, you're like, I'll paint 1,000 points instead, and then you have free time.
Yeah, for Adepticon, I've tried to be more, pick projects that just are less stressful. And yeah, I learned a couple years ago to just not try and do 2,000 points for the event like that year, like as in like 4 months from, well, you buy your tickets in November and then you kind of like decide what you're gonna do. And yeah, I decided to start doing a half army, and then previous year like a different event, maybe a doubles or whatever, take that army and finish it to 2K for the next year for the championship. Give me more time.
Yeah, it's really smart, actually. I think I would have rubbed off on me one of these years, but
it's tough though, because I think neither Chris and I actually get to play as many games as we want to, and I can appreciate, like, if you take the the book, one of the books that's like, comes out shortly before Adepticon happens or whatever, you probably have a good chance to do well with it because it's usually a powerful book, and it has new rules and stuff that people aren't used to. So that's a real thing. I get it.
yeah, it just kills you a little ever you're doing it if you try to do it. I mean,
yeah.
Not trying to paint it nice too is, I think, probably the problematic part of it.
Oh yeah. It's hard to. You can't really turn that switch off either. You're like.
It's okay, but now that I'm dry brush guy, I can just.
Oh yeah.
That dry brush life,
Dry Brush Life.
Yeah, we were painting. Jay was painting orcs. I was painting Bone Reapers, and we had 2 other people painting orcs and Bone Reapers. We're gonna do like a 2-on-2 kind of display thing. It's gonna be pretty awesome too. Jay had a really nice sketch of what it was gonna look like.
Yeah, maybe we'll back to it next year. Maybe. Something light elves.
Yeah. I think it's just gonna be 4 light elves. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
We'll do one of each cast or whatever. We'll just go with really fluffy armies. It'll be fun. I think, like I said, I'm retired from competitive gaming now, you know?
Well, you guys can, lock that code in.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. Lock that code in. See if manages to do that.
Now, Jay, I say a lot of things, okay? Let's not hold me to anything, okay?
Yeah. No? Oh, okay. No.
There's aspirations, and then there's reality, you know?
Realita. Yeah.
We should all try to be better people, but sometimes it's different, you know?
Wow. Wow.
One of each element. Yeah, that would be something like that would be awesome. And actually, the team format at Adepticon actually promotes something like that, because if you do take the same armor, you have to take a different whatever the particular tribe or legion is for that faction, I think. So. Yeah,
they have some limits on how you double things up or whatever. You can't just take 4 times the same greater demon or whatever you want to do. The keyword, you can't other than battle line troops or whatever, or regular non-air heroes or whatever, take duplicate war scrolls or something.
Yeah, that's the one. Progress shot. 2 tiny tanks go across the screen.
Very good. Wow. We could go a lot farther than I did.
Honestly, one of the best parts of Flames of War is just they tend to paint up quickly and are pretty stress free.
Yeah. Painting tiny tanks is super nice and easy.
They almost don't look right if you overpaint them. I find, at least, if you kind of over highlight them, they kind of look a bit off.
Yeah, less is more, I think, with them sometimes.
Yeah, someone gets Petrifix Elite and the other one gets God knows what. That's basically the case. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do that. Just make one of the factions just over the top better. Because all the other ones are really cool. There's a run and charge one. There's an exploding skeletons one. There's an anti-magic one. But you don't look at them, because in the same legion you get +1 save and -1 rend additional. It's just crazy.
The giving them both of those things was just probably the issue. Should just given them one or the other.
Berlin Brigade, I tried it on 1 tank, honestly. If someone pulls that off in real life, good for them. It's rough. It's basically urban camo. It's 3 colors of urban camo, but yeah, I don't know. It wasn't fun. What other projects do you have on the go, Jay?
Um, yeah, I have also have well, you're doing Team Yankee, but I have Flames Over Soviets that are built and primed, base coated, and some. Well, the tanks are all they've got contrast paint on them, and I did paint my prototype already. And then there's just a shitload of tiny people, infantry, which I'm regretting and neglecting right now.
And you, from my understanding, also took veteran Soviet troops, right? So you're not even painting the horde.
I tried to like take the least amount of dudes that I had to, and it was still a lot. It was still like I don't even know. I want to say I have like roughly 20 stands times like 4 to 5 dudes each or something. Like it's when you see it on the tray, it's just a dense little tray of like I don't know, 100 little models.
Jeez.
But we'll see. We'll see how I get on with that. I think I'm just gonna really chip away a little bit at a time. So yeah, you might see me painting those on here in the next little while. And then I'm trying to get. I have a backlog of figures, some busts and things that I wanted to work on. I got this Sister Battle bust or whatever that you guys will see soon. The artist was selling them on Facebook page or whatever. This guy in Spain, of course. And yeah, so I want to do her up and started. I got her like kind of assembled today. I had a little bit of time, but I got to get her like mounted on something like a so I can paint it. And,
you need to like mount it on a bust and then tape it, maybe.
I don't know. I'll probably just get some brass rod or something. Just something so I can attach it to a painting handle. And, yeah. What else? I got a couple of those. I have another one I'm already painting that I should also work on. It's like a 75 mil figure.
A ghost sniper model or
sniper? Yeah, she's basically she's kind of like Widowmaker from here. Her hair started.
Oh yeah, it's a cool piece.
And anyway, she's the model's actually like a Navy SEAL in terms of like equipment and what it's supposed to be, I guess. And so the goal is to have it wading through some water. So
that's gonna be really cool. What's your plan for that?
Yeah, I got some silicone. It's like a little silicone cube or whatever that you fill, and then think of it as like a silicone ice cube tray, but you can fill it with resin. And so what I'll have to do is kind of like basically do all her basing and paint everything, or her lower half the way it's going to be, and then slowly pour the water, because usually acrylic resin you can't pour it too much at a time. You kind of go, I think you usually go like an inch at a time or less if you want. And yeah, to pour that in stages, and then also still obviously have to paint the top half and the head and all that. And yeah, there's some more details to work on, but it should be kind of cool. I have to decide on like the tint, with like how opaque the water will be, and what will be, if I'll have any like stuff like, I don't know, seaweed or stuff in the water. So it's a lot of stuff to think about, actually, to kind of pull off what's going on in my head. But I think it'll look cool. I just gotta, I don't know, I just gotta kind of, it's like, it's a hard thing to start, because you're like thinking of 100 things. It's not just like, oh, I'll just paint this and it'll be done. There's like logistical things. we'll see. Might be more than I can do on it.
I'm always really glad you try those things first.
Yeah, I know.
And then I just download them from your brain.
Just download them, or you just don't bother.
Or I'm like, this isn't worth it.
You're like,
yeah, one or the other, you know.
That sounds crazy. Yeah, no, it's true. I'm definitely the crazy one. I spend a lot of time thinking. There are times where I like thinking and then thinking of the like logistics, and then I'm like, you know what, forget it. Those occur sometimes. Like with display board, sometimes I have like the same idea, and then I actually stops me half the time is I add up the number of like the dollars it'll cost to buy the materials, and I'm like, forget it.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't have like access to like a tool shop or whatever, a workshop where you can like do certain things, be messy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a factor too. Yeah, I mean, I was done my orcs for Adepticon back in mid-February.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and so I was kind of like, I did the thing everyone does where you kind of finish one thing is you are like, your eyes are immediately big for your stomach, and you just start thinking like, I'll do this and I'll do that and this and that. Go nuts. So I had like Zinch models on the go because they got their new book, and I wanted to update my army. And then I had the Flames of War, and then I had these figures, and Mind Sphere X came out, and I was like, I just want to paint this, and it just kind of spiraled. So hopefully I can pick. Hopefully one of these 6 things will get. It's a numbers game right now.
Something's got to give.
Something has to, yeah.
Yeah, Ben, we're gonna probably. The goal is probably to at least for me, I'm gonna bring my my stream setup, at least some of it, to work. I might try tomorrow, and I'll probably stream for part of the day, just to kind of have like a virtual store setup. If people can ask me questions, they can. I'm gonna be there painting anyways and filling orders and doing stuff. So, but as far as Jay and I goes, like at night, we're probably gonna talk about some sort of schedule. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Idea too is one of us can doesn't like we both don't have to be on all the time. We're probably gonna bring on other people as well. So probably do it more often than if it was just both of us. And yes, I do plan on weathering these tanks up. I'll probably after this, I'll probably finish some of the other details like the barrel. It's gonna be like a khaki color. I gotta pick out like the guns, some of this fuel cans and the siding, the tracks, and then I'll probably do some like selective washing. And then I'll probably do like a really light dry brush over top both the colors to kind of blend it together better. And then just kind of maybe with a brush just edge some spots on the tank to kind of make it look a little sharper, and then weather. So for weathering, I don't know. I kind of jump all over the place. I usually use the powders, the Vallejo powders. I used to use them on my Flames of War tanks and get good results. I usually just like pound a ton on, and then I shoot them with like a matte varnish, and it sprays away a ton, but you get like a nice fade on the bottom. And you can do like several coats of that in different colors if you want to for dried mud, wet mud. I don't know if I'll experiment with something different. I might try some new stuff this time. What do you usually do for weathering, Jay?
I do a lot of just sponge, piece of case foam or whatever.
I like sponging. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some chips.
Just like kind of chips and dirt. Yeah, find that it's less messy. Powders I like powders too, but sometimes they're just, I don't know, they're I like because when I put powders on things, I like having it be like a really to really like show the dirt and grime, but it like I found to get that effect you have to like use pigment binder or whatever it is, just kind of like a glue or whatever. It, even with that on, it's still messy, which
Yeah.
wouldn't be an issue if it was just a display piece, but because it's a gaming figure or whatever, it'll just like constantly be like shedding. But that's just like, so I don't know, for me, I personally like the sponge. Yeah, nicks, scratches, stuff like that.
Ben has a paint question. Working on some zombies. You have a good greenish flesh color for light-skinned zombies, but I'm struggling to do dark-skinned zombies. They look too alive. Any tips? Dark-skinned zombies. That's a tricky one because you imagine zombies being like rotting and pale. I don't know if you have the GW Dark Skin Tone series, Ben. Trying to remember what the hell the paint was called. Give me a sec. Catachan and Blood Reaver, I think, was the colors. I don't know. What do you think, Jay? Like, I think maybe the color you mix into it would probably be the way you would change the contour of the flesh. Like maybe like a green bone kind of color into the skin.
I was just gonna say maybe you just use the shades to like give them that less alive look,
like a green shade, a purple shade, something like that. Or?
Yeah. That might be. I mean, otherwise, I would have started at Raykar's flesh probably. Just use some contrast or shade on that to tone it down a bit, then re-highlight it a bit. That's probably the way I would approach that. I think if I recall, whenever I see an artist do like dead flesh, it's got a lot of green purple in it, like more so than usual, than normal.
There you go. Taylor wants to know where's the J face cam. We're still figuring that part out.
Oh,
yeah. Jay can. I
don't have a second.
Jay doesn't have a second camera, so we're still technically figuring things out.
I would have to like. What I do? My phone or something.
Hey, your phone has a good camera on it, if I remember correctly.
That was a pretty decent one, yeah. Yeah, that'll be in season 2 or whatever.
Season 2, yeah. Season 2, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Idneth colors are good, yeah. They have that like kind of undeadish kind of skin. Yeah, for me it's like usually like
that's true, yeah.
With skins it's like the starting point is like really crucial, like the first color you use. And then painting it, just highlighting it the same way and shading it the same way. But for zombies, yeah, that's a bit trickier because you're You're playing with a lot of different things. I always, when I'm in like thinking of like how do I do something, I just go online and look at references, like pull up some pictures of some zombies and try to match colors. Like sometimes it's that simple.
Oh yeah, you gotta reference the internet. Just pictures. It's like I study pictures a lot when I'm stuck or whatever. Even just the Games Workshop boxes.
I think people make the false assumption that good painters don't do that. And I think people couldn't be more wrong about that. Like,
sure.
I mean, anyone who's done art school, you spend your whole time like studying what other people do.
Yeah.
There really is no shame in looking at what someone's done and trying to take something from it or copy it or.
Pretty much everything in any art you study. Repetition of something someone else did.
Absolutely.
Every single thing.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thanks, guys. There's our boy Chris.
Oh boy, just with the slam dunk as usual.
Slam dunk.
I'll tell you, if I did copy Jay, I wouldn't give him the credit for it. That's for sure.
No.
I would never admit to it. You'd have to bring me to Judge Judy Small Court or whatever, and she'd be yelling at me, being like, "I've got all the evidence here." I'd be like, "No, I had 3 third places."
Should be like, exactly. That's
why you copied. Man, painting tracks on tanks. I forgot about this. This is awful.
Nope. Betru died. It's okay. I've got another one.
Ruh-roh. It's okay. Jay has a bandolier of batteries around his shirt. Just boop, boop, boop. Only when it's easy, yeah. Yep. What should I give Ash credit for? Something about painting the bottom of a model that you're just never going to see. It just kills me inside. I'm like, why am I doing this? You know why? I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Because many years ago, there was a man who ran the Oakville Battle Bunker named Lionel Miranda. He now owns a hobby shop, X Planet Games. And that man will check the bottom of your model. You know, if you go to show him something, he literally, the first thing he does, he did this to me, is turn the model over, look at the bottom. It's not finished. And that's why it's burned into my brain. And back in the day, you couldn't actually get into the battle bunker if your model wasn't finished painting. So when you have the guy turning your model over to see if you finish painting it, you know, it's pretty intense. And then no one could sass you like Lionel, so, you know, You'd be like, no, Lionel, it's finished. And he's like, if you think it's finished, you can go in.
Oh, if you
If
think
you
it's
think it's finished,
yeah,
you go in. And of course, you're like, I'm not going
yeah.
in.
He's a bit of a monster, that guy.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Lionel on here one day. Pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, he's a character, so.
Never paints bottoms. Yeah, Clarence is what we call an efficiency painter, and he's only gotten more so as time's gone on. I think you have to look at Clarence's army from the right side of the table to see that it's painted at this point.
Wow. Clarence.
I never actually knew Corey Burns that well, so I can't really answer that question. But Ash Sass versus Lionel Sass. That's yeah. I don't know. They're both. I mean, they both work together, so they're both from that time period of like weaponized sass. You know, like.
I would say, having worked for both of them, pretty well. Ash much closer. I think Lionel still.
Yeah.
When Lionel gets like rolling, I don't. He's unstoppable. I don't know.
He has that maniacal laugh that he can do after, which is just It sends it over the top. Yeah.
Ash will like. There will be a moment where you can get your word in or whatever. Like you can. Yeah, you can definitely get Ash sometimes. His own thing, you know. So, I'm trying to remember some of those times when in the store. Oh, there was the so at that time, the Games Workshops, you were like within the store, you were basically the staff or the manager, I guess, or the assistant manager, been like in charge of. Like we placed our own orders or requests for stock. Like it wasn't automated like it is now or whatever. So there was one time we got like an excess of something. I think it was Tomb King battalions or something.
And you have to preface that was a pretty brutal item to have back in the day.
It wasn't great. It was okay. It just wasn't like we didn't need 6. You know,
might take the whole year.
We needed like maybe 2 or something. Or whatever, judging by the volume we had. 2 in like a month, basically, maybe. And for some reason we got 6, and he's like, I could see from across the store, he's like looking at this like hacking sheet, and he's just like looking, he's like perturbed, and he's like, why do we get 6 Tomb King battalions? And I was like, or I think he said, why did we order 6, or who ordered 6? I can't remember the exact verbiage, and I was like, well, orders are placed on Monday. I'm like, you worked on Monday, so you ordered 6. And I'm trying to remember exactly what the thing is. I think there was a bunch of us laughing at him or something, and then he was like, I don't know. I think he told us to get the fuck back to work or something, something along those lines. And yeah, so
I don't think. See, that's why I would go with Lionel, because I don't think you can get Lionel like that. Like, you know.
No.
Yeah. No.
You could do that. You could. Yeah. Ash would, accept. I don't know. He's actually more reasonable. To be honest, there was also the time where I was. I don't know what it was. It was like for some reason, maybe because I was in college or a student or whatever, and I went to school at college up in Rexdale, and I lived in like Erin Mills, so it was like quite a bit of driving to go to school and then catch my like afternoon shift or whatever at the store at Square One. So there was like one quarter for some reason I was just late a bunch, like in a row or something, and so Ash had to write me up or whatever, and I don't know what I was thinking that day, but as he's handing me the sheet, I was like, "Well, I was only," and I was like that one. Kind of like I paused, and he just kind of looked at me. I was like, and I had remembered the like 2 times I was late, like the previous 2 weeks or something. Like something had occurred, something in my brain had. And then I told him shut up before he could say anything, and I ripped the sheet out of his hand, signed it, threw it back at him, and he's like, "No one's ever told me to shut up during a write-up before." And
Shut up.
yeah, but I don't know. I kept my job somehow, I guess, because I don't know. I guess he had compassion for me. Was good at my job or something. And
we'll go with your something.
Yeah, but again, I don't know if Lionel would have had that same leash or whatever. I would say Lionel's probably harder to work for Ash. I don't know about current present day Lionel, but corporate Games Workshop Lionel, maybe it was different. I don't know. It was a different time. It was a long time ago. It's over 10 years ago. More than that, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That's because we getting old.
Yeah.
Yep. No easy way to put that.
No. Yeah. And then if your boss was Jay Griffiths, your life was fine.
Oh, man.
The nicest man to work for.
He would come in to do like a store visit, and he'd just start working with you. It was just the best.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you weren't like a complete idiot or whatever, it's fine. Yeah.
Tracks.
We've reached that part of the night.
Yep.
Tracks.
More and more tracks. Have a good night, Jordan. Take care.
Try to stay on track.
Yeah, but that was before Clarence was like the real monster that he's become. That was like young Clarence, you know?
Free win Clarence.
That is pretty savage, though.
Oh,
that's pretty rough, yeah.
And I would have liked to see what transpired at that store. What is it, Fairview or whatever? Like the shortest lived store in history or whatever.
It's the old strategy of Games Workshop. We're gonna open a store in every mall, and then malls just decide to die, basically, right?
I think the other issue with that store is it had like some ridiculous. Like it's too big of a store for the rent and all that.
Yeah.
And they had too much inventory, and too many staff were required. work the hours. It was just like kind of too much all at once or whatever.
It's crazy to think today, because like running a shop, you have thousands of items, and you basically carry one of each thing. Like it's just there's
Yeah.
just not enough money to have more than that. And
No.
there was a time at Games Workshop when they had like 5 or 6 of everything on the wall.
Blisters and boxes.
Like crazy. Just in case you wanted to walk in and buy 6 10-man units of
Yeah.
White Lions of Shrace.
It's because this was before the web terminal and stuff. Though,
Yeah.
so,
Different world, right? Different world.
yeah. You had to have that option. That option had to be available for that one guy that came in once a year.
I mean, that was a big sale, right? Like if that
true.
guy came in and he's just like, convince Jay to go vegetarian. He's actually pretty vegetarian already.
Yeah, I say my wife and I have been. I wouldn't say full vegetarian, but I definitely have I would say I don't eat meat every day, that's for sure. It's like, I don't know, kind of balanced. We do eat a lot of stews and things. We get a lot of use of our Instapot. And
Jay was such a proponent of it that he bought me one just so I had to use it.
I forced him.
I have to say it is good. It is good.
Yeah. It was one of those like, I'm not even vegan, but I'm like, if I was, I have to own this. It's just like,
yeah, it's nice. You can do a chili and actually have it ready for dinner.
oh yeah.
As instead of waiting over, we used to just make them overnight in the slow cooker.
You can do lots of things. You can, basically, you can prep a meal in a bag and freeze it, and then get all the chopped up ingredients and whatever, and just chuck it in there and fire it up before you go to work or whatever. It'll auto shut off or whatever later.
That's pretty baller.
And life is really so. My wife always has a couple of those kind of dashed away for a rainy day, or if it's just, I don't know, crazy. We need a quick brain, very easy brain dead meal, so to speak. I think. Depends on the season. I don't know. Definitely, I definitely eat a little bit more meat in the summer. Barbecue is active. But we have a lot of meals sometimes where it's just a big salad.
Yeah. Salads don't have to suck. I keep telling people that. You can make them really good.
Yeah. And depends too. We subscribe to like that Farm Fresh, whatever, vegetable box.
You still doing that, yeah?
Yep. So, once a week or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, local Ontario farms, I guess. I don't recall exactly which one or the details. Took care of that. But it comes and then you're kind of like, okay, I got these things. But there's some randomness to it, but I think you can also kind of like feel like, no, I really don't like X or Y or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you get that, and then you're like, okay, we gotta like cook this week. So sometimes it's, or I think they include recipes too. I don't really like, I don't know what you do with this or whatever. And yeah, so between that and whatever, I'd say we're balanced eaters. I don't know, I'm not too extreme in anything. It really depends too. For in-laws, mom is bringing us food. They definitely eat, so a lot of meat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So there you go. There you go. You can rest easy, okay? And every time Jay buys us burgers, it's always a veggie burgers for both of us. So there you go.
It's true, yeah. I do. The Beyond Burger. Definitely. Well, last summer with the when there was a whole Beyond Burger craze or whatever, it was becoming more. What do you call it? Like you just buy them in the regular store or whatever, and or alternative like some like products or whatever. We had a lot of those on the barbecue. It was like, I don't know, it was just like I could eat more of these and not feels unhealthy about it.
Yeah, the soul burgers. Those are getting one.
Those ones.
Yeah, they're
those
good.
Ones are, then they had that. What was it, the Impossible Mark II or whatever, where like it looks and tastes and like oozes like a regular meat burger or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like pink and fleshy, just like a burger. It's a little crazy actually when you think about it. You're like, this is made out of peas or whatever.
Pea blood. You didn't know peas blood?
Peas blood. The purest pea blood.
So I'll probably be painting a lot of British Team Yankee, British Flames of War. I've got a whole bunch of Marvel models I want to do, which will be fun to do on the stream because I can mess around with some different colors people can see. And that'll be more like high level painting stuff as opposed to just, dry brushing a tank. And then just like Jay, I find that the busts and figures are very easy to buy, so I've acquired quite a collection of them. I should really start painting some of those. And now that Sword and Brush is going to Sword and Brush Mini will be postponed. It was originally going to be in the middle of April. So we're going to still run it, but probably, obviously not until later in the year. So gives us extra time to finish some random painting projects, which would be good. And one thing we're definitely going to do is I've talked to the other guys from Sword and Brush, Anthony, Alex, and Dave. We're going to do some streaming too and talk about the event, and that'll be fun. We can kind of outline for people that haven't attended or what's going to be different about this year for people that came last year. So go over some of that fun stuff. So. Provided we're allowed to have events over 100 people in 2020. You never know.
You never know.
Think positive thoughts, right? I'm basically going to have these base coated today. That's pretty awesome. The theme for this year's Sword and Brush, I'm not sure we've announced it yet, but it's going to be the end of the world. I know that's pretty...
That was decided well before.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that we decided this last year. And we may change it now. No, we can't change it because we've already got a model commissioned. Sword and Brush theme, stay away from me. That's good. The theme is social distancing. Oh, jeez, last year was the Rising Sun, which was actually a pretty fun one. But the goal, we're going to do a test this year and see how it goes. Obviously, we don't want to lose too much money doing it, but we're gonna try and get a model commissioned every year for the theme as well. So people, if they don't know what to buy or just want to collect something cool that's limited edition, they'll have the option to do that. So if you haven't been following along on Facebook, Sword and Brush convention, we have some early pictures of what it's shaping up to be. We're not changing it. We're not changing it. It's not changing. Guess we could change it to like something a little less on the nose, but I think this is, you know, you hear people talk about during war times how some of the most stuck-in units had like the darkest sense of humors. So I don't really buy the whole you shouldn't make make jokes and stuff like that, because like we all kind of need to laugh still, even when things are serious. And I would never tell someone how to cope with something, because I think that's kind of preachy, I guess. Everybody deals with things in different ways. But I remember, Jay, I don't remember if you remember, I think it was for the Dan Carlin podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling about the, was it the Australians that were landed on the beach in Turkey?
Gallipoli.
And they were joking about how their buddies were getting their head shot off or something like that. They're like, oh, we're in deep now. Or whatever,
Oh yeah, yeah. They're like cracking jokes.
Just cracking jokes about their buddies or whatever that are dying.
And they're getting like just MG'd or whatever.
And the other people they were there with were just like watching them in horror. They're like, what's wrong with these people?
Yeah. Because I think those guys also maybe. I think that was if I don't recall 100%. Maybe that was one of their first engagements in World War I.
That was Churchill's Gambit, I think, wasn't it? I think in 2015, maybe. I don't know. It's a little shaky on the deets, but I think one of the more rookie platoons was watching these like veteran Aussie fighters or whatever on the beach, and just like, why are they laughing?
Yeah.
Why are they laughing right now? This isn't funny.
Yeah.
But to each their own. Yeah, I've just decided now to stop being preachy, Like I said earlier, Chris, it's, the goal is to be a better person, You don't always get there. So McCutcheon, you're going to actually paint a model for this year or what?
Oof.
Well, that's most of the base coating done.
There's McCutcheon with the factual assist.
There you go. I was right.
Yeah,
1915.
anyone could have Googled that,
Yeah, he's just ripping that out of the back of his brain. Eh? He's like,
Yeah.
actually, it was February. What day in February? You didn't even get that one, eh? Oh, never mind. January 16th. Never mind.
I can already hear him.
I can
swearing at us
see
from
and
his-
hear the glasses push, like through the microphone and
through the microphone.
just
Yeah.
like boom. All right, we'll do Nick Cage movies as the theme, but you have to sculpt 6 unique different busts from different movies, okay? And then we'll consider it.
Mm.
Yeah, of course, you have some stuff in the hopper. Everyone has stuff in the hopper. Is it going to get out of the hopper? That's the question, you know? Get out of the hopper. I've got actually this model here that I started. I can move these out of the way now. This is the box.
Oh, yeah, shield me.
I started painting her. See if I have her kicking around. Oh yeah. I do actually. It's a little hard to capture on camera, but I do actually have her. She's a lot bigger than you think when you get her out of the box. She's real big. Yeah. And super detailed too. So I'm starting on that. I'm gonna figure out how to paint something this big on stream. I need to figure my setup out a little bit better until I can do that. But I want to do some of these like more intense kind of pieces on camera. Oh, 12:15. I should probably end this soon. Giving these guys too much of an expectation for the first one, you know?
This is yeah.
Setting the bar too high.
Set the bar really high here.
Drip feed these guys a little bit more, you know?
This is
drip.
I'm gonna log in tomorrow and be like, where's my
2-hour stream? One up comments. I don't know about that, but let's calm down, okay? Ben Comets.
Yeah, neither of us are.
We're gonna need to have like 6 windows with like our
like
our paint mixes and like then there needs to be a guy in the top right hand corner commentating the whole thing. You see, he's stroking from left to right with the brush because it's actually better to do it that way for some reason.
And if you're left-handed, you're just fucked.
You should probably quit the hobby now while you're ahead.
This is more of a right-handed hobby.
Yeah, using the word.
We don't know if left-handers do the hobby.
Frankly, we don't want to know. Yeah, so we'll probably post something, I guess, on our. Well, we actually have a new website up now too. It's like an emergency website. It's a little bit like simple. All the details on how to order, how to catch the stream, that sort of stuff. And we'll probably post some sort of schedule on there. We'll have it on our Facebook. We might do one like hobby and chat like this a week, and then maybe one more that's a little bit more focused on a topic. But yeah, I'm
actually gonna sign off the baby. So.
Oh, there we go. Boop boop. All right, guys. You have a great night. Thank you for following.
Send
us your suggestions. You guys take care.
Bye.
Bye.